Year 10 Parent Information Event November 2024. My name is Mrs. Khan. I'm one of the assistant head teachers at Cotham School. I'm the SLT link for Year 8. And today I'll be talking you through the presentation that would have been delivered in school today, and also talking you through the Year 10 Parent Information Event portal and what information you can find there, and how you can use that information to support your child at Cotham. Okay, so today's programme includes the following. I'm going to talk to you about the key staff and documents that are accessible to you, and I'll give you an outline of the year ahead. Miss Pace would be delivering a presentation on work experience, so I'll be showing you where you can find the information on the slides about that. And we'll be talking to you a bit more about the mock examinations for 2024-25 for Year 10, and a bit more detail about how those mock examinations will be run. And then finally, we'll be concluding with best ways for you to support your child at home and in preparation for assessments. Okay, so first of all, key staff and documents. Mr. Farmer is the learning coordinator for Year 10, or the head of year. And he is assisted by Mr. Arnold, who's the Year 10 behaviour manager. Miss Sainsbury is another one of our assistant head teachers, and she is the senior leadership link for Year 10. And she is line managed by one of our deputy head teachers, Mr. Morgan. So you'll find linked into this presentation all of their email addresses should you wish to contact them. Key documents that are available to you on this portal are also the Key Stage 4 curriculum booklet and the Year 10 assessment calendar. Now I'm just going to come out of this presentation for a moment just to show you these key documents and how they can be of use to you. So this is the Year 10 assessment calendar, and this lists week by week all of the assessments that your child will be undertaking throughout the Year 10. And this is up to date to the end of term 2, after which we update them then again for terms 3 and 4. The Key Stage 4 curriculum booklet, this outlines all of the courses which your child will study in Key Stage 4. So it will give you information about their exam boards, how they're assessed. If I just scroll down into one of them for you, just give you a bit of an idea. If we look at maybe English, there you go. So for English, you can see the English language is a GCSE, the exam board is AQA, you can see the syllabus code there. So if your child wanted to download the specification from the internet, they can do. If they wanted to access past examination papers, they can do just by typing in AQA GCSE English language past papers into Google. So that is all available to them. Now coming back to the PowerPoint. The year ahead for Year 10. Here are some key dates for you. So the 5th of December 2024 is when the Year 10 Parents' Evening will be taking place, and that will be an in-person event in school, and you will receive more details via mailing shortly. On the 31st of January 2025 is when the first Year 10 progress report will be issued to you. And on the 22nd of April is when the formal mock exams for Year 10 will begin. On the 6th of May is when work experience week will commence, which is immediately after the Year 10 mock examinations. On the 6th of June, your child will receive their final Year 10 progress report. Work experience for the year ahead. Now these slides would have been explained by Miss Pace during the presentation evening. Just for your information, work experience does take place between Tuesday the 6th to Friday the 9th of May, so it lasts for 4 days. And Miss Pace will have provided information about how to secure your child with a work placement and how she can support with that. And there is information on the portal about that as well, which I will show you just a bit later. So there is a slide here about the work experience platform, which is called Unifrog. Again, Miss Pace will be delivering information about that in the presentation, and then there's some information on the portal about that. And this slide is a really useful slide actually, because it just explains the timeline for work experience and what happens when. So you can see we're at the stage now, September 24 to December 24, where individual meetings are taking place between Miss Pace, our careers advisor, and students to understand what kind of work placements they're looking for and to support them in applying for placements. That is also an additional slide about work experience. We do offer a drop-in session. So if at any point students want some advice about applying for a work experience, they can drop into B002 Tuesday at lunchtimes when Miss Pace and her assistant, Miss Poonam Kaur, are available. The key stage 4 structure of the curriculum. So you will be aware of this. All students will study 8 GCSE English, Maths and Science. English and Maths are 8 periods a fortnight. Science is 10 periods a fortnight. And that's what the numbers in the brackets mean. And then PSHE is 2 periods a fortnight, and PE, physical education, is 4 periods a fortnight. So those are core subjects that all students across year 10 will study. In addition to that, your child would have chosen 3 option subjects, and from that list. So from that list, 3 of those subjects will be their option subjects. Just so that you're aware also of the current GCSE grading system, it's no longer graded A to U anymore. It's the new GCSE grades go from 9 to 1, with 9 being the highest, and U being the lowest, U ungraded, and then grade 1 being the lowest. For the vocational qualifications, I've also put in an extra column there so you can see what the vocational qualifications mean and how they relate to grades. So a level 2 pass is a grade 4 or a grade 5 at GCSE. Mock exams take place on the 22nd of April to the 2nd of May. And they will take place in the hall to give our students a flavour of what the real examinations will be like in the summer. In advance of the mock exam week, we will issue exam preparation booklet, which will provide students with everything they need to know about the exams for each subject and resources that they can use to revise from. I can show you what the exam preparation booklet looks like. It looks something like this. You'll see there is a link there for every single subject. So if I go into slideshow mode for you, go to English language, it tells you what paper they'll be doing, what the papers are about, and where you can access resources for revision. So this will be a really invaluable resource for students when they come to revise for their marks. And this will be issued to all students 4 weeks prior to their examinations. Okay, just coming back to my PowerPoint. Effective preparation for exams and assessments. So the way you can support your child in preparing, there's 2 ways which are really effective and evidence-based. One is self-quizzing. So when your child is revising and at home, it's best for them to be writing things down, either in the form of a spider diagram or making revision cards or a mind map or Cornell notes or some form of recording the information that they're learning. And then self-quizzing is all about trying to retrieve that information in a different way. So for example, if they made revision cards the first time, trying to transfer those revision cards into a mind map. If they did a mind map the first time, maybe transferring the information from the mind map onto a revision card. And the harder it is for students to recall new learning from memory, the greater the benefit and the stronger the learning power. It's more likely to stay in their long-term memory. Distributed practice. Now, this is just the act of spacing out your revision over a period of time. So it's not beneficial for students to try and cram everything in the last minute, because it's really hard to retain information into your long-term memory. What's more effective is spacing out your revision over a longer period of time, and actually planning what you're going to revise and when. So having a timetable, something like this, can be really useful. And this is where you as parents can come in to support your child by blocking out the times when you know they cannot study, or they know they cannot study because they have other commitments, and then agreeing times when they will study, and then slotting in those subjects which they need to revise in those times. And a really useful way of doing that is assigning 2 half-hour slots for every single subject, and then giving an additional slot to say math, science, and English, which are core, and then an additional slot to those subjects which they want to study at A level. And because that can be a good starting point for creating a revision timetable. Information about distributed practice and self-quizzing are on our school website, and I'll show you exactly where you can access that information. What's really important when revising for all kinds of assessments in year 10 for GCSE, especially the mocks, is to practice lots and lots of questions. So when your child does revise in the form of making flashcards or mind maps, it's really important that they then try to apply that information quite soon after writing it down, to see if they actually understand it, if they're now able to apply that to an exam question. And that comes with practice. It doesn't happen overnight. The more questions they practice, the more questions they expose themselves to, the better equipped they will be for answering those exam questions. So I want to introduce you to what we call the triple answer system for exams and tests. And this is just one technique that students can use to answer exam questions. So the first stage, obviously in preparing for exams, is assessing your knowledge. So that means, understanding what you need to learn, making notes on that, then reviewing, self-quizzing, testing yourself, getting others to test you, changing your notes from mind maps to flashcards, or flashcards to mind maps, or whatever other form of revision you want to do, and then practicing those exam questions. So when you go into the first stage, it's really important for your children to have a revision list. And this is where those exam preparation booklets will come in really, really handy, because they will contain checklists of what your child needs to revise. And then obviously reviewing and self-quizzing, so going back over that material and actively note-taking is the best way to revise, so it starts to lodge into your long-term memory. And here is just one slide which shows you various ways in which you can revise, and your child might have another way which is better suited to them, which is absolutely fine. Everyone's different and everyone will have their own way of revising. So the exam technique that I'd like to share with you is this one. So what your child should do is get themselves no need to go for a whole paper straight away. Once you've revised some of the content, go and find an exam question related to that content. And then the first thing they should do is try to answer the question in blue or black pen without any help or resources, just using them and their brain. Then they should go back over the question again, and this time look at their revision resources and see if there's anything in their revision that they could add to improve their answer. And they should do this in a green pen. Then they should go back over the question again for the third time with the mark scheme. And is there anything in the mark scheme which is different to what they have written or what they've taken from their revision? They should add this in red pen. They should then go back and add what's in red to their revision notes, and then repeat the cycle of learning again, and then have a go at the question again. So what should happen over time is there should be more and more blue and black pen in their exam questions, and there will be less and less red and green pen. And that's their goal, to get to a point where all of their answers are in blue black pen, and that they really feel that they're nailing those questions. In terms of supporting your child at home, the best things you can do is making sure that they're equipped for their exams. They will need to have a clear pencil case, having full attendance so we can be sure that there's no gaps in their knowledge, trying their best every single day, completing all of their classwork and homework, being coachable, so taking on board all of the feedback that teachers give them in lessons and through their homework and assessments, revising regularly, doing that little and often, getting to the habit of reviewing lessons at the end of each day they've had a lesson, going back over the content, reading around the subject area. Also, making sure your child has a good study space at home. Is there somewhere quiet where they can have a table and a chair where they can study without any distraction? It is a good idea for them to have plenty of light, and not to really listen to music, because studies do show, especially music with lyrics, studies show that it increases processing time, because they're not only having to process what they're learning, but they're also processing the lyrics of whatever they're listening to, processing the lyrics of whatever they're listening to. So if they need to listen to music, if they need to have some kind of noise in the background, then just music would be better than having music with lyrics. Having all distractions out of the way, so if they don't need a computer at that particular time for their revision, then remove it. Removing headphones, game consoles, and if they don't need the internet, take the internet away, so they have that undistracted time to study. I don't know, it's not easy, but showing an active interest in their study each day can really help. They will find it helpful. It may not seem as though they do, but just the simple questions like, how's it going? What are you working on today? Do you want me to test you? Do you want to explain it to me? Can I get you a drink? Do you need any more pens and papers? What's the plan for tonight? For revision, what are you planning on covering in the half hour that you're sitting down to revise for? What's your plan? You can also access access your child's Google Classroom by using their login details. So you can see what homeworks they have, when the due dates are, and how they can prioritise. So you can help them to prioritise their homeworks. And also included in this presentation, you'll find a exam preparation timetable. So the portal, I'd like to take you to the portal now, just to give you a quick walkthrough of what the portal looks like. And this will be live on the website today. So on this website, you will have an introductory video from me, which is what I'm recording right now. So that will be replaced with November 2024. Then you'll have some really useful subject course videos here. They're not all in there yet, but they will be by the time this goes live. And this will give you some really valuable information about how the course is structured, how it's assessed, and how best you can support your child through the GCSE in each of these subjects. So there's one video from the faculty leader for every subject, which I hope you will find really, really useful. And then we have a section on work experience. So there's a section on how to use the Unifrog tool, and there's some slides there also from our careers advisor, Ms. Pace, to support you on how to use Unifrog. And the key staff are also listed here, as well as the key documents that I talked about earlier. There are some revision timetables linked in here for you. So there's an after school timetable, and there's a general revision timetable. So you can create one for term time and one for the holidays if you wish. And there's some note-taking techniques there. And some helpful online portals. So we have the Digital Learning and Preparation for Assessments portal. This can also be accessed via the school website, but you can also click here to access them directly. Our online learning platforms that the school is subscribed to is GCSE Pod and Seneca. So your child will have a premium login for these accounts. So please encourage them to make use of these for revision. You can access them anytime they like, and they're really good. They're intuitive, so they pick up on what your areas of weakness are, and so they plan different questions for you. You can track your child's home learning with Google Classroom, so there's a section there on how to do that. And then there's a small section from our inclusion team about help and support with student wellbeing, and how you can support your child with exam stress and stressful times of exams. Okay, just coming back then to my PowerPoint slide. I just want to also show you actually how you can access the website from the internet. So if I just bring up Cotham, okay, you'll see here under parents and carers, you see information events, and you'll see here the Year 10 parent information site is just there. And with regards to preparing for assessments, here's the information about digital platforms here. So here you'll find information about Seneca GCSE Pod, okay, and also you will find on the preparation for assessments portal, you'll see that there's some information about self-quizzing, distributed practice, and student wellbeing. There's some information about GCSE exams and walkie talkie mocks just there too for your child to access. Okay, so coming back to my presentation, so I've talked about the subject videos. You'll find them all on the portal, really useful. Online learning platforms also accessible through the portal. This is really good because you have 3 to 5 minute videos on different topics. So if your child is the sort of person who likes to revise in short bursts, then that's really useful. Seneca is another high quality free online learning course. And it's got algorithms built in, so it kind of picks up where you make mistakes and plan further questions for you. Further resources and help are also available through the portals, which we've discussed. And if you need any further assistance, then you're welcome to contact your child's learning coordinator, Mr. Farmer. If there's subject-specific queries, then you can talk to your child's teacher. If they're non-subject queries, you can talk to your child's tutor. If you need to email any member of staff, then it's usually just their surname, their first initial at cotham.bristol.sc.uk. But if you're not sure, you can always email Mr. Farmer or one of the named staff for year 10, and they'll be happy to provide you with the contact details of the staff member. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I hope you managed to make it to the Year 10 Parent Information Event, but if you didn't, then I hope you found this whistle-stop tour of the portal and the year ahead for Year 10 useful. Thank you for your time.